Hi, I'd like to talk about firearm safety, specifically about Alec Baldwin on the set of the movie Rust, where he killed somebody and injured a second person. I was taking for granted that people in the movie industry understand firearm safety, and that is absolutely not true. If you're ever on the set of a movie and you get to say any input, or if you notice somebody pointing a firearm at somebody, just point out the fact that you can angle the camera so that way the firearm looks like it's being pointed at somebody, but it doesn't have to actually be pointed in a dangerous direction. Very simple rules for firearm safety. Always assume the firearm is loaded. Never assume or accept that a gun is a cold gun, as Alec Baldwin said. He thought that the gun was safe. You should never assume any firearm or anything that looks like a firearm is safe. This is how Brandon Lee died, and it's the reason I took this for granted that this video did not have to be made is that everybody should have said this is a horrible tragedy. We already lost Brandon Lee's father, Bruce Lee, and now we've lost Brandon Lee in an accident that was completely avoidable. The basic principle of blanks is that they're still going to fire a amount of explosive powder that even if there's no projectile in there can still harm somebody at a certain distance. And therefore, there could also be some type of material in that barrel that's not supposed to be there, and that can also create a projectile and be deadly. So the basic simple rule that I hope everybody should know now, but we cannot take for granted that people don't know. So if you're on a set and people are using firearms, don't be afraid to say, "Hey, we can do this in a safer way." Always assume that weapon is loaded and that you should not point that weapon at somebody unless you intend to kill them, and just say we can make the camera appear that that firearm is being pointed directly at that person by cheating on the angles. This is something that should be preventable. Alec Baldwin may be held criminally responsible. I thought he may not be, but there's probably going to be some charges on somebody on that set because this was absolutely avoidable. This was not an accidental discharge because this weapon was not pointed in a safe direction all the time. It was a negligent discharge. Even if he didn't pull the trigger, you always have to assume the weapon is loaded. You always have to assume there could be a malfunction, such as an overheating, and a round can cook off and go off when you don't intend to fire. So I don't think Alec Baldwin in any way did this on purpose, but he's still responsible. Always assume the weapon is loaded.